So, to put things here simply, I'm going to be trying to follow a list of things. It helps to keep me, just remembering everything that I teach. Hopefully I don't forget anything because I have, not done this in a long, long while, so I hope I can remember the list of things that I do go over. If at any point in time you are familiar with something or just feel like you can't consistently do it and it's just frustrating, just let me know and we can go ahead and skip over to the next part, right?
Yep.
Alright then. So the first things I'm going to start off with is tank. And something that's incredibly important for the tank is speed climbing. So, do you know how to speed climb consistently?
Yes.
Alright then, so you want to skip over that?
Yep.
Alright then, so we'll move on to the next part here. So, this part here, it's not really, hard to do, but it's just more of a tip kind of thing. So, as the tank, and really, I mean, you can do this as a survivor, as any of the infected, but it's very important for the tank, where you ladder launch yourself, as you kind of just did right now. It's very useful to just ladder launch yourself at the survivors if they're trying to push you excessively. So you're trying to climb up the ladder, just fall off and... or not fall off, but jump off using the space bar and just punch them off. It's pretty nice and simple, but a lot of people forget about it. And, by the way, I don't see any speed climbing right now. Alright, then. Oh, wait, he fell. It's not good, Vintageman. Alright, then. Alright, so the next part here we're going to go over is called jump rocking. Now, do you know how to jump rock?
I'm familiar with it, but I can't pull it off consistently.
Alright, well, let's see if we can try and fix that here. So jump rocking, it's basically a sequence rather than a combination. You don't press them at the exact same time, but it'll feel as though you are pressing them at the exact same time. Simply put, you're going to press the rock key followed by the space bar, but you're going to press them in such a quick succession that it feels as though you're pressing them together. Very nice. Kind of jittered right there. Alright, looks like you're getting pretty decent at it. Let's get one more here on the ground. Very nice. Okay, so let's move on to the next part here with the jump rocking. So, the main thing about jump rocking is being able to time it so that you can jump off of a structure. So just for simplicity's sake, let's pretend that this is a 10-story structure or a flying bridge or some shit that we're trying to jump rock off of. So just practice your jump rocking off of this. Very nice on your first try, too. That's not nice. Alright, let's try and get 2 more here. Alright, and 1 more. Alright, so now let's actually try it here with the rooftop here. This is mostly what I usually do for people to kind of practice their speed climbing here. So yeah, let's see you do 3 jump rocks off of this. Remember, you gotta press that right click before the jump. Very nice. I think he just drop rocked, Vintage Man. Very nice. That was a pretty decent drop rock too, by the way.
I don't even know what I did.
You walked off the edge while picking up a rock, basically. You forgot to press spacebar. Alright, so let's try and get one more here really quick. Don't try and rush it like that. When you try and do that, I even find myself just messing up the jump rocks. Just after each attempt, just take it back a bit, and then try again. Don't just like quickly go straight into the next attempt. Alrighty then. Alright, so you kind of got the idea behind jump rocking then, I assume.
Yep.
Alright. Now what about haymakering? Well, that's a jumping haymaker. That's the second part of this. Here, let's go over just the simple haymaker here. So, the simple haymaker, just standing still, all you have to do is right-click and left-click at the exact same time. Like, literally just push both fingers at the exact same time. That's all you do.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no sequence to it. It's just exact same time. Now, if you want to turn this into a jumping haymaker, we essentially have to do the exact same thing we did with jump rocks. We have to do the combo and then the sequence. So we'll do haymaker followed by jump. Very nice. You seem to be more consistent about haymakers than jump rocks. Alright, so let's try and get one more jumping haymaker in here, because these aren't really too important. Very nice. Ow. Not nice. So, jumping haymakers, or haymakers in general, keep in mind that if you play on any Pro Mod servers, the haymaker will not be doable. Like, if you try and do it in a Pro Mod server, it'll just let you only do one or the other. You can't do both. So it's really only a vanilla thing.
Okay.
Alright. Now, the thing about jump rocks and haymakers is you need to learn when to do them. A lot of people, like when they start learning how to do them, they're like, oh, I'm going to do it all the time. I'm going to jump rock here. I'm going to jump rock there. And that's actually like a really, really bad idea behind it. A lot of people will do something like this, where let's say, for example, they get a survivor trapped all the way over here in this little, you know, brushy, hedgy like area. And what they'll end up doing is they'll come up to the survivor and they'll just go straight into a jump rock right here. And the entire time that they're picking up the rock, the survivor is now going behind them. And, you know, the survivor is no longer, you know, in that corner. You just ended up getting punched away and such. Alright? So, when you start getting a survivor cornered in an area like this, it's best to just go up to them and kind of just punch them. Alright? And then afterwards, you can open up with a jump rock if you want to, because all the other survivors are, you know, running away from you or etc. Now, One thing to note about cornering somebody is a lot of people make two major mistakes as the tank. Is one, they stop moving when they, arrive at the corner. So like right here, let's say I punch a survivor and he's cornered. Right, this is what some tanks that don't know what they're doing will do, is they'll just stand still, and this ends up leading them to getting juked. Another thing people will do is they won't let go of W. They'll just keep moving forward, and then the survivors go around them. Your best bet to do is, when you got a survivor cornered in an area like this, is once you start getting to like the halfway point between you and the little corner area, that's when you want to actually start strafing. This makes it harder for the survivor to kind of juke around you, and also keeps you moving alongside the survivor. Because if you just let go of a key and just stand there to try and punch, more than likely they're going to get behind you. Alright?
Yep.
Next thing is, again, knowing when to do jump rocks. So, just because you're on a rooftop doesn't mean you should always open up with a jump rock. Just to show you here how long it takes for the rock to finish throwing. Let's say a survivor is trying to go in underneath me. Pick up a rock, they're already inside. Maybe I'll hitbox them if they don't get around the corner fast enough, but it's very, very, very long time before I'm able to do anything. Whereas instead, if they're trying to go inside and I just drop down to punch them, it's pretty simple. Alright, so it's not always just because you're on a higher ground to always open up with the jump rock. Alright, so any questions on any of that?
Nope.
Alright then. Let me see, I'm trying to remember what I think what I do next here. I think I move on to cleaving. Yes, cleaving. Oh, messing up the props. Alright, so cleaving is the act of the tank hitting in two different directions instead of one. So I'm sure you've noticed that if you swing your mouse a certain speed around you, you can kind of hit in two different directions, right? Or at least hit a wider arc. Let me see if I can try and show you here. Let me set up some survivors. Alright. I guess you've already seen this in the videos.
Maybe.
Oh, Vintageman, that's cheating. I mean, if you're familiar with cleaving, we can go ahead and skip that.
Alright.
Alright, then. Alright, so how about doing minor B-hopping, then? Well, seems you're pretty decent at that. Just landing a single B-hop is more than enough, though. Let me see, let me bring up a prop. Alright. So the idea here is just to land a single B-hop. You don't need to do any curving or anything, you just gotta make sure you B-hop across the car here. Just to avoid slowdown. You're pressing your spacebar way too late. You need to press it sooner. Very nice. Oh, don't rush into the next attempt now. Come on. You wouldn't happen to be playing with VSync on, would you? Just want to make sure.
No, it's off.
Alright, good, good. That's something I want to try and get into the habit of covering at the very beginning instead of tank lessons, is just proper settings. Very nice. And just tell me when you're ready to move on to the next part.
I'm ready.
Alright. Let me go ahead and get rid of this here. Alright. So the next thing I like to cover is hittables. And I take it you've already seen my videos then, correct?
Some of it?
Alright. Well, I mean, are hittables something you want me to go over for you? Or would you like to skip over it?
Yeah. Don't skip.
Don't skip? Alright then. Alright, so let's go over hittables here. So, I'm going to start by going off the fact that there's two different types of hittables in this game. There's smaller props, and then there's bigger hittables. Smaller props will do very minuscule damage, and they're kind of littered around the map and such. And they're really only good for catching up to survivors or blocking off survivor pathing. Whereas bigger hittables are used for incapping the survivors and, you know, scaring the living shit out of them. For smaller hittables, you need to find out if they're actually usable. So, let me go ahead and spawn up some tables here since we kind of disappeared. Let's see here. Where are my tables to spawn up? Alright. So, the trick to figuring out if something is a small hittable that you can use is one, is it solid? I'm sure you're familiar with this part here. You can, you know, walk into it, jump on it, it's a small hittable. However, if it's a hittable that you can walk through, as you can see right here, this hittable here that I'm walking through, this is more of a server-sided or client-sided hittable. You can't really use these, and they're completely useless. They're just there for decorations. Alright, and these ones can range from round tables to barrels on the parish map, or trash bins that are just littered around the map. They can be very useful, but you need to learn how to punch them, and a lot of people make the mistake of trying to use these just too much, really. Let me go ahead and spawn up a table here. Alright. So the trick to using these is not the way you're doing it right now, though. Yeah, you don't want to use it like that. The trick to using these is to actually, when you're arriving at the hittable, is to pre-punch. You want to punch before you arrive at it, so that way you don't slow down when you hit it. So go ahead and give it a try. Very nice. Let's try again. Too late. Alright, one more. Alrighty. So yeah, I mean, they're very useful, but at the same time, they're very risky to use. So you have to pre-punch them. You don't want to slow down on them, because if you slow down for even just a tenth of a second on them, it wasn't worth it. Sure, you'll do 2 damage, and sure, they'll slow down for the duration that is passing through them, but it's just not worth it. Now, these hittables can be very useful in the sense that they can block off survivor pathing. So you see here, if I put it right here, the survivors are going to have to kind of jump over this to get over. You could even wedge it into the doorways if you have the time and stuff like that. These are usually more prominent on the finale of Dark Carnival, where there are 3 round tables set up, you know, in that hallway as right before you get into the stadium. Hitting those as a tank is actually a bit more useful than trying to get the forklift, which is usually, you know, removed in Pro Mod. So any questions there with the smaller hittables?
Nope.
Alright then. So move on to the bigger hittables here. Alright. So, let me see some hittable control here. I'm gonna assume that you already know how to do this part, right?
Helicopter?
Yes, let me see helicopter then. Alright, yeah. You're pretty decent at this then. Now, do you know how to do the back punch?
Yes, kind of.
Oh, let me see it then.
No.
Somewhat, but let's try again. Alright. So, the main thing about doing the back punch is once you click, so once you left click, you can just aim away already. So as soon as you left click, aim away. Very nice. Now try and do it from this angle here, and hit it into the survivors. Alright, yeah. Pretty simple, but still at the same time incredibly useful. Alright. So any questions around hittables? I think it was a pretty straightforward thing, since you already knew most of it.
Nope.
Alright then. Let's see, I'm trying to remember what I teach next. I think the next thing I go over is rock hitboxing. Now, are you familiar with rock hitboxing?
Yep.
Alright, is there something you want me to go over, or do you want to skip over that?
You just have to kind of aim it over their heads, right?
No. Rock hitboxing basically... Yeah, let me set them up here. Rock hitboxing is that there is a large area around the survivors that registers rocks. Let me show you here. So come over here and stand here with the tank so you can get a general idea of how big this hitbox is. So there's just this large area around the survivors that just registers rock throws. I'm not sure. It's like maybe the rock has a big hitbox or the survivors have a big hitbox for registering it. Either way, you can hit survivors around corners or behind trees very easily with this. Alright, so come on up and give it a try here. Very nice. Oh, that's a bit too far. You're not aiming at the building, you're aiming just for the air right next to them here. Yeah, let me boom on the survivors really quick. A little bit higher for that rock. Very nice. Ah, can't get coach. There we go. Try and aim your rocks a little bit higher because you can still hit Rochelle, but you just need to aim them slightly past them. Something I'm curious about. Are you familiar with the 3 different rocks? Like how to aim them?
Not how to aim them.
Alright, let's see if we can go over that here really quick. Let me see here. Let me set up a survivor here really quick. Alright. So for aiming them, each of the 3 rock throws, they're completely different for where you have to aim them. The underhand rock, you have to aim slightly up and to the left of the target. So in this case, let's say you were standing right here and you got a left-handed, or I mean an underhand rock. You would actually have to aim right here, about right here, to try and hit him at this range, right? Now, the one-handed rock, you can pretty much ideally aim directly at him. Whereas the two-handed rock, you might have to aim slightly higher. The reason being is that the one-handed rock travels very fast. It just travels in a straight line faster than the other rocks. While the two-handed rock, on the other hand, it doesn't travel as fast. It has more distance to travel and will slowly drop. Now, do you know how to identify which of the 3 rocks you get as soon as you pick them up?
Not really.
Alright, well, let's go over that then. So each of the 3 rock throws for the tank can be instantly identified as soon as you pick them up, determining just like the rock animation that your tank is going through. The one-handed rock will be scooped up with one hand, followed by a second hand, and it will be held up above the tank's head. You'll also be holding it similar to like kind of a basketball. You know, if you ever seen somebody play basketball where they have one hand to hold the ball and one hand to guide it when they throw it. The underhand rock will be picked up with both hands simultaneously in a vertical motion, and it will be kept below the waist. Whereas the two-handed rock will be picked up horizontally with both hands and just held above the head. You just look at the tank's arms and see how they animate, and you can identify which rock you're picking up as soon as you pick it up. Very nice. Oh, rocks hit each other. Very nice. Alright, and just tell me when you want to try and move back to the hitboxing part.
Let's go back to the hitboxing.
Alright. If you want, you can drop down to the little sign right here, because usually in a real game you're going to have glows going on because they're just going to be shooting and stuff like that. Also very nice. Sorry, I forgot to turn off gun mode so you're not hearing the dings. There we go. But yeah, it looks like you're doing much better here now. Very nice. Alright, let's do 2 more. No, you're trying to aim right at them. You don't want to aim right at them. Aim for the air right next to them. There we go. Fortunately, Coach is just eating those rocks there. There we go. Nice. It's actually a good throw, but it kind of went over. Let's see if you can at least down Rochelle here before we move on. So one more rock. Very nice. Alright. So the next part here, which I'm sure you're already kind of familiar with, is just the aiming slightly above the target, right? If you want for this one, you can kind of move a bit closer. It's really more of a demonstrational kind of thing. Turning them slightly higher. And then the next part, which I'm sure you're familiar with, is just crouching doesn't make your hitbox noticeably smaller then, right? Because I'm not sure what parts of the video you've already seen, so I don't know if I'm going over information you already know.
So crouching doesn't help?
Yeah, crouching doesn't help at all. Basically, if you can get hitbox while standing, then crouching is just not going to make a difference. It doesn't make your hitbox significantly small enough, if at all, when it comes to rocks. You'll still be hitbox just the same. Very nice. Alright, just tell me when you're ready to move on to the next part.
Alright.
Alright. Now curve rocking. How are you with curve rocking then?
Terrible.
Terrible? Well then, it's a good thing we're going to be going over that here. Vigorously. Okay. So we're going to go over the simple part of curve rocking here. I'm going to go ahead and set up the survivors here really quick. Alright. So come meet me at the top here. So this one's just pretty damn simple, in the sense that, believe it or not, all you really got to do is just, as soon as you pick up the rock, you can aim straight down. You don't even need to do anything, right? Also, you're a bit too close there, so it's not really curve rocking. Yeah, this part is simple. The two-handed rock might require a bit more precision. But all of the other two rocks, very simple to do. You just aim straight down as soon as you pick up the rock, and it just does it for you. Also, you might be a bit too far from the edge to be able to get the underhand rocks. Very nice. Alright. So let's move on to curving around an object. This one's going to be a bit more difficult. So, oh, one of them was on my head. What the hell, man? Let me set them back up. They're like really hard to set up. I wish they were like bowling pins, be easy to set them up. But anyways, so first we need to go over the timing for when you got a curve rock. Alright, so I already showed you the 3 different rock throws and how to identify them the very second you pick up the rocks. Alright? Now you need to identify when to curve them. So the best thing I can say is imagine it kind of like playing golf, right? You know how everyone, they have like a little golfing stick or golfing club, I guess you can say, and they'll pull their arms back and then they reach kind of like their peak. They can't move their arms any further back and then they swing forward. The same thing happens with the tank, or just throwing something in general, kind of like playing baseball as the pitcher. When you reach that peak, that's when you want to curve. So when you see your tank's arms in the furthest back part of their animation, that's when you want to do the curve. Now, how you do the curve is entirely up to you. The one-handed rock can easily be curved at the exact timing that you do without doing anything special. The underhand rock, on the other hand, you'll have to aim away from the target and aim at them. This is just to make things simpler, because the actual timing for curving the underhand rock is actually almost at the very last frame of the animation. So it's much better to just aim away from the target, like say aim at the restrooms, and then when you see your peaking animation, just aim at the survivors. So remember, once you're fully pulled backwards, you can aim at them. Oh, it's actually a good two-handed throw. Very nice. Too early on that one. Very nice. Too early in that one. Remember, when you get the underhand rocks, look away from the target. So if they're on your right, then you want to aim to the left with the underhand rocks. Also, you don't need to do it in any kind of smooth manner. Just flick it if you need to. Very nice. Okay, and just tell me when we're ready to move on to the next part. I'm going to start setting up the obstacle. I see that there, Vintageman. Aim a little bit higher because those are kind of landing there. That's one thing about the underhand rock.
Alright.
Are you ready to move on?
Yep.
Alright then. So this next part here. Ow. That's not nice. But, I mean, the thing about the curve rocking there is just try not to wait till the last frame. It's not about the last frame. Let me go ahead and set these up here. Alright, so what I'm going to teach you here is how to curve a one-handed rock and an underhand rock over chest-high props. Now, this isn't really an issue in most scenarios, but let's just say, for example, because I ran into this problem in Pro Mod, is you jump rock straight into dumpsters or something like that. You need to be able to curve rock in case you get a random rock that just isn't favorable to you. So the idea is to aim away from your targets and then aim straight at them afterwards. Now the underhand rock will be needing to be aimed slightly higher, high enough to actually get over the dumpster. But you need to be careful how high you aim it, otherwise it's going to end up hitting the moon. Well, it's been a while since I've done this. Oh, that one went flying a bit. I'm doing it too early. You need to aim higher. Your rocks are still hitting the dumpster. Very nice. That was actually a pretty good throw. A little bit higher. Very nice. Alright, and just tell me when you're ready to move on.
Alright.
Alright. So this next part here is curving rocks. Now that you can't punch them, I made sure of that. But is curving rocks underneath, basically just underneath you. Now do you know how to do that?
Hold on.
Curving rocks underneath you.
Nope.
Alright, so then for this part here, I'm going to need you to kill off your tank. So just press M, switch over to Survivor, and then press M again to switch back over quickly. Let me go ahead and set up the survivors here. Alright, so spectate me in first person mode and tell me when you're doing that.
Okay.
Alright, so the trick here is this can only be done with the underhand rock and the one-handed rock. The two-handed rock you can't do this with. Now, first things first is you want to be, near the edge. Second, you want to already be aiming slanted, slightly downwards. If you're aiming just, slightly slanted upwards, it won't work. And also, if you're aiming straight down, at any point in time, it will not work either, because then the rock will just go straight down. So the trick for doing this is you get the rock, and when you get the timing, you just swing it slightly past the target. And you see here, I'm kind of doing like a crescent shape around my invisible feet. At no point in time am I aiming straight down. Let me go ahead and show you here a few. And just tell me when you're ready to give it a try.
Do you have to be turning right?
You can do it left, but I have more control of my mouse when I'm moving to the right with this. It's entirely up to you.
Okay.
Alright, just tell me when you're ready.
Let's do it.
Alright. Ooh, it hit the gnome. You're waiting too long to do the churn for that. Also, you're aiming too far up when on the drawback. Also, yes, Sense Mattress, I am reading chat, but I haven't really heard anything or heard anyone asking any questions about the game. The reason I'm using a rock selector is because this is a local server and I don't have the add-ons on it. If you want, you can... I mean, I could show it to you again if you want.
Alright, could you show me this video again?
Alright. So just kill off your tank again. Alright. Oh, there we go. Alright, tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
Alright. So again, you want to be aiming slightly downward. I kind of just use this little puddle here as kind of a little baseline. So when you're pulling back, you want to do it still aiming low. If you pull back too far and you aim like this, it's going to end up kind of looking very similar to what you were doing. As you can see, it's not going to go underneath. You have to be making sure that you're already aiming slightly slanted downward still. The entire thing is all about having control of your mouse enough that you don't aim straight down at any point in time, and you also don't aim too far up when you're on the go back. Also, the timing for this one is a bit more towards the end of the curve rock. So the one-handed rock will kind of be almost at the last second or the last couple frames, whereas the one-handed rock gives a little bit more room, but you still want to do it somewhat towards the end. Alright, so remember, just don't do it too high on the drawback.
Okay.
And just when you're ready.
Okay.
Alright. Oh, you fell. And you're waiting too long to do the curve. Alright, now you got it, but you need to aim slightly downward at the beginning here. So you're still aiming too high. Very nice. Very nice. It's 3 in a row. Very nice. Alright, and just tell me when you're ready to move on to the next part of the tank.
Yep.
That's it? You're good to go?
Yep.
Alright then. So yeah, it's pretty useful to do, but it's kind of like, you know, pick and choose kind of areas. You almost never get to do it, but it's always good to know how to do it. Alright, so the next thing I like to cover with the tank here, so I'm trying to remember, hopefully I don't miss anything out. I think that's the end of the lesson, or for the tank, that is. Now, do you have any questions about tank gameplay that you want to go over before you go on to the next special infected?
Nope.
Nothing like chasing, you know, chasing survivors, how to corner a survivor, etc.
How to chase?
Yeah, because a lot of people have trouble cornering a survivor, which is actually a very valid thing. It's just a lot of people don't know how to efficiently move the tank.
Okay, let's go over that.
Okay. So, first things first. So come on down here. Now I'm going to have you run a command in the console. So you're going to type that in the console. CL_show pause 1. And this is going to pop up some white text in the top left.
Oh, I have that.
Alright. So this shows velocity. You can see 210 in the top left there. Now, the thing with velocity is if you make any incredibly sudden movements, like going from left to right, you lose a lot of momentum. The same is true for the survivors, however, they can get away with a lot more that the tank cannot. So the trick to using the tank to its fullest potential is to try not to make any crazy movements. It's also really good to try and commit kind of swerving your tank a bit, but at the same time you don't want to be using the arrow keys or the WASD to kind of move your tank left and right, because if you do, you could risk just losing that precious velocity. I mean, as it is, you're going to be going in and you're going to be losing a lot of velocity from getting shot anyways. Now, the next thing is predicting as the tank, alright? So let me show you here what I mean by predicting. Give myself some pills here. So, the trick to predicting is pushing the survivors into an area where you know that where you basically want them to go. And if they switch into the area, then you can easily cut them off. So let's say, for example, you're chasing me down this alleyway here. Alright? Now, which way do you think I'm probably going to go?
Right.
Yeah, I'm probably... Wait, right? Which way is right for you? That way?
I said you're right, but...
Oh, my right. Yeah. Alright, yeah. So, the main thing to do about this is that you want to actually start cutting them off then. You don't want to go directly at a survivor, but rather you want to start going where they're going to go. So then, I'm going to see you going to my right, and then I'm going to switch over to this side, and then you're going to start strafing over to this side, then I'm going to start going this way, and either I'm going to get cornered here at the meat and burgers sign here, or I'm going to have to go on the back here, which further separates me from the team, and I'll probably get pounced, and then we're just kind of cutting each other here. Now, this part is kind of difficult. I mean, these little areas here just becomes more difficult because of the tents and such. But the general idea is just to make sure to cut off the survivors. You want to push them kind of like a cat and mouse. You want the cat to kind of play with its food. You want to try and push them into the area that you want them to go, or at least corner them. And a lot of tanks don't do that. They always try and go directly at the survivors. Alright? So let's do a bit of a practice here. So let me go ahead and grab a gun here really quick. Alright. So for this part here, you're gonna go ahead and chase me down. And I'm gonna purposely try and screw up, but you need to try and corner me, alright? Alright, ready?
Yep.
Let's go. And see there, what you're doing right now is you need to, again, you don't want to keep moving forward, because like right here, if I'd gone behind you, that would have been really, really bad. You need to make sure that once you get to this way, you start strafing, alright? Let's try this again here. Oh wait, I don't need health. What am I doing? Here, Rochelle, take these. Alright. Alright, let's try this again. Alright. So the next thing now you need to learn is, that's fine. The next thing you need to learn here now is not, a lot of people call it timing your punches. Honestly, when you just like think about it, it makes no sense to me. I want to say is learn when to punch, alright? So as you see there, I was kind of just circling around you. I was using my Uzi slowdown and the fact that you lose a lot of momentum with having to change directions very, very quickly. Your job as the tank is to not punch too early. Now, believe it or not, if you do miss a punch, you actually do punch quicker than if you landed a punch. If you landed a punch, it takes longer to get your next punch, right? But if you're missing, you get to punch quicker. But there's this 1 second timing, alright? Then it just becomes easy for the survivors to kind of predict. And if you just start doing that every single time, then it's going to be easy for them to just keep juking you. Because they're going to be like, alright, go up to him, shoot him, alright, back off, he's going to punch. Go up to him, shoot him, alright, back off, he's going to punch. Instead, if you just stop punching every single time you try and get the opportunity, it's going to be like, oh shit, alright, when's he going to punch? Either I'm going to back up or they're going to end up moving into you while your punch is off cooldown. Alright? So let's go ahead and try this again here. This time I'm going to try and juke around you a bit, alright? I'm noticing here, okay, if the survivor's not cornered, you need to stop strafing, basically. Don't do any strafing once you only do strafing once you got the survivor cornered. If I'm in a big open area, you want to keep just basically using W and occasionally pressing the strafing keys to, like, adjust yourself if you need to, alright? So let's try this again. Also, do you need any health type, give health into console? Because I don't know how much health you have. Alright. Ready?
Yep.
Alright. What frame rate do you exactly play with here? Because I think you're playing with... Are you playing with low frame rate?
I'm at like 110.
Oh. Alright. Well, no, it's just, I'm trying to figure out why you're missing your punches. I figured maybe it'd be vertical sync, but you said that you're not playing with vertical sync. Oh, well, your ping's really, really high right now! Are you, like... I mean, are you using, like, a wireless connection, I take it, then?
Yes.
Alright, well, then that probably explains it. Alright, well, the best thing I could say is just try and keep track of the survivor and just make sure to be following him with your mouse, really. Alright, so let's try this again. No, now you're trying to just brawl with me. Don't try and brawl. You need to keep chasing me, because what you're doing is you're trying to punch me and then you're trying to back off. Again, you don't have me cornered yet, so you don't need to be doing your strafing. You want to keep chasing me until you cornered me, and then you start doing all the crazy strafing. Alright. Ready?
Yep.
Let's try again. Very nice.
Wait, so do the red rays mean I hit you?
The red rays... Let me see here. I believe so, but the thing is, though... how the tank punch works is it's actually a homing attack here. So let me see if I can show you here really quick what I mean. I gotta find the C-VAR for it, because it's been a while since I've used the C-VAR. basically is just that it's homing. It singles in on a single entity, which led to a lot of problems over the years for the tank. So I'm trying to find it here. Where is it? No. Oh, there we go. Okay, so here. Go ahead and just punch at me. Don't come at me, just punch. So you see that big box right here? This box is just going in a straight line. That's basically how the tank punch works, right? And it caused a huge amount of issues over the years in the sense that it just, like, people would miss punches, right? And it basically just homes in on a person. You don't even need to kind of aim at them, really. Well, I mean, of course you need to aim a bit, but it homes in and does the rest for you. Now, this becomes an issue when you're trying to be very, very precise. And now you're just having fun. Alright, let me reset it now. The tank. Oh god, I already lost the C-bar. It's swing, alright. Alright, there we go. Okay. So this caused a lot of issues. Basically, a while back, there were 3 different punches. Now, I don't know if you ever like played campaign mode, but I'm sure you've seen the tank in campaign mode. He does like an uppercut, a left hook, and then a right hook, right?
Oh, maybe. Sure.
Oh, okay. I guess you haven't. You don't do that. Okay. Well, basically, there used to be 3 different punches. The same as the 3 different rock throws for the tank. However, the tank could not see which of the 3 punches he was doing. Alright? And there was this one particular punch, the uppercut, that would bug out all the time because it homed in on something that was behind it. So let's say, for example, I was in front of you here and then a survivor was katanaing you in the back and such. You would actually end up punching the person behind you for no reason, but you would miss the person in front of you. And it made no sense, and it was very inconsistent and very annoying. Right? Thankfully, Valve released a patch and fixed that, but it was just that homing that was a pain in the ass. Also, if you're too close to a target, you can actually miss, believe it or not. It's hard to consistently show it, but if you hug against a target and you try and punch, you can actually miss because for some reason it just like envelops the person instead of just hitting them. Same thing happens like with the door. If you're too close to the door as the tank, you can actually miss the punch on the door. Alright, so any questions there about the tank before we move on?
Nope.
Alright then. Let's move on to the next special infected, which is the Hunter. First things first, do you know how to wall kick?
Yes.
Alright, do you know how to Kai Pounce?
I can't aim it.
You can't aim it? So you can't like consistently jump along a single wall then?
No.
Alright, then let's see if we can fix that here. So let's kill off your tank here. And I'm going to go ahead and spawn us up over here by the only real wall that I can think of here that we can use this for. Actually, no, I won't spawn you up yet. Tell me when you're in first person mode.
Yep.
Alright. So, I'm going to start with the simpler one here. Now, with this one here, just basically, I'm sure you noticed here, like, if I aim straight up, nothing happens, right? The trick is, once you aim straight up, you're going to want to aim slightly farther away from the edge while holding the S key, and you'll just be able to jump up straight, alright? Okay. Once you have that angle, you don't really have to adjust it anymore. You just have to find that angle, and you can just leave your mouse like that forever, alright? The next one here is when you're doing it along a wall rather than just kind of with your back to it. This one here, you're going to have to press A and S together. Now, by pressing A and S together, you're going to be pushing yourself back, and you're going to have to find the angle to try and just pounce your way away from this wall, while at the same time enough that you can come back to it in time. Because if you pounce too much, I mean, it's kind of like this, you're not going to be able to do anything. Alright, so you ready to give it a try?
Yep.
Alright, while we're waiting for Vintageman's ping to come on down, if you got any questions about the game, go ahead and ask them in chat. If my viewers don't answer them before I do, then I'll go ahead and answer them here, through my microphone. Alright, looks like you're good. Alright, it looks like you're aiming way too far away from the wall. I think he might be adjusting his mouse. Let's see. Alright, stop adjusting your mouse once you're in the air. Just keep it. Do you see how you got that single one? If you had just kept it there, you would have had it. Just find the angle, and then just... Yeah, no, that's fine, right? Almost. The thing you just got to get out of the habit of is just readjusting yourself, because once you're in the air and you're getting it, you're just readjusting yourself and it's throwing you off. Yes, rocks do have god frames. And no, it doesn't depend on which of the rocks. However, they all have the same amount of god frames, alright? However, the AI tank has longer god frames with their rocks than a player tank, alright? Now give me 1 second here. There you go, very nice. And just tell me when you're ready to move on to the next part. Now, the thing to note is that because the rocks have different traveling speeds, some rocks can cover more ground while godframe than others. Alright. So the next thing we're going to cover here is hunter rolling. Alright? Basically, when you shove a hunter off, the hunter can actually control whether or not he rolls. Now, do you know what a hunter roll is?
Yes.
Alright, now do you know how to do it consistently?
You just look 90 degrees to the right of the survivor, right?
90 degrees to the right of the person coming to shove you.
Yeah.
Alright then, yeah. We can go ahead and skip over that then. Yes?
Yep.
Alright then. So the next SI we're going to cover here is, I believe... I'm trying to remember, I think it's the boomer here. Is it the boomer or is it the charger? You know what, let's just do the boomer. Alright, so... If you want, you can kill off your hunter. So I'm going to have to remove some of the stuff. And to answer your question, Dark Kid, they do move at different speeds, and they do have different start points. The one-handed rock moves the fastest of all the rocks, and also has the farthest end point or exit point of all the rocks. What? Oh. Meaning that it can be very deadly at close range because it covers the most amount of distance while God framed. Alright. So, first things first, do you know how to long range vomit?
Not really.
Alright then. Okay, so the trick here with vomiting is just basically arcing. So, tell me when you're in first person mode at me.
Okay.
Alright. So here, see I'm going to be aiming straight at the survivors here. If I vomit, I got nothing. Alright, no matter how many times I can vomit for days and I'm not going to hit them. Maybe I'll get lucky or something, but it's not going to happen. Instead, if I aim slightly over the survivors, I'll be able to hit one of them here. Alright? Now, the thing about vomit arcing, I'm going to show you here, so watch my cursor, so I'm going to show you how the arc works, is that it goes in a straight line, and then it starts to arc downward. Alright? Once it reaches that arc, that's when it can fall on the survivors. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and spawn you up, and you give it a try here. Let me see here. Let me spawn up a obstacle. Alright. So here we have a nice white van. Alright. Also, you're aiming a bit too high. You don't need to aim too high with vomiting over objects. So the best way I can say when it comes to vomit arcing over objects or obstacles is to actually pretend the object isn't there. Alright? So I'm sure you're doing a good job here with your vomiting. Now let's say I moved the van. Alright? Now try and vomit on them. Now see, now you're thinking the object is there. Pretend it's not there. I mean, all I've done is just move the object over. You were able to get them before. So just stand where you were trying to vomit on them from here. From that first van. There you go. Very nice. And see, you're still able to get them, even though I removed the prop. So just basically pretend that the prop isn't there. Just adjust for your arc, and that's how you get the... Whoa there, Vintageman. Calm down! Alright then. So do you kind of get the idea there behind arcing?
Yep.
Alright, let me go ahead and spawn them up over here to give you another obstacle. Aha. Alright. So here, this is kind of the same idea. You have to pretend that the object isn't there. But if you try and do that like you did before, you're not going to reach them because they're hugging the wall and you can't vomit through this. So you need to then distance yourself so that you can get the vomit over the wall. You want to aim slightly higher because you're... There you go. Because your vomit was having trouble getting over. Oh, so you can back up a bit, and your vomit's going too high now. Alright. So you kind of get the idea then now with vomit arcing?
Yep.
Alright. So now, the next part here with the boomer is that your vomit doesn't actually travel for a certain amount of time. Or, I mean, it doesn't travel for a certain amount of distance. It actually travels for a certain amount of time. Alright? So what this means is you can actually cover more ground if you accelerate the vomit. Let me go ahead and make something here really quick so you can get on top. Alright. So another part with vomiting is just vomiting from angles where they just can't get you. Like here, there's nothing they can do. If you want to vomit on them, you're going to vomit on them. There's nothing and absolutely nothing they can do. Alright? And all you really got to do is just aim along the, aim along the edge of the rooftop here. Now you can cover a lot more distance here with the vomit simply because our vomit's already falling down. So it's gaining velocity. Alright?
Yep.
So I'm going to show you this next part here. And so see, you can see the survivors, they're pretty far away from me, correct? But because my vomit accelerates while, it's going straight down, because of gravity and such, whatever there is in the source engine, I can actually hit them from all the way up here, alright? Because again, like I said, the vomit accelerates as it falls down. It covers more ground before it disappears. Alright?
Okay.
So, any questions on vomit?
Why is it that sometimes when I vomit straight down, it doesn't hit them?
Give me a scenario. Like, if you just vomit straight down right here?
Yeah.
Like, let me see. If the survivor's like right here and you vomit straight down.
I don't know. It's just like sometimes when you're too far up or something, like you vomit straight down, the vomit just disappears.
I don't think that's really an issue. I mean, there's only so many places where you can vomit straight down and your vomit will miss or not hit because it's too high up. I mean, you are playing on wireless. That could be it. Is that you're trying to vomit on them, but then you lost a packet somewhere sending or receiving that they moved underneath, or that you vomited or hit them or something. That could probably be it, because I've never actually heard of something like that.
Alright.
Because basically with vomit is you shoot like a huge amount of rays. You shoot like 30 rays from your mouth or whatever, alright? And if any one of those 30 rays hit the hitbox of the survivor, they're considered boom. So it's kind of hard, you know, kind of hard to miss them if you're aiming straight down at them.
Alright.
Alright. Any other questions?
Nope.
Alright then. Let's move on to the next part here, which is charges. First thing with the charger is, do you know how to avoid chest bumping at close range?
No.
Alright, so let's go over that. Alright. Bye bye, Boomer. Oh. Where are you going, Vintage Man? Come back here. Alright. So, I'm sure you've run into this many times where you run up to a survivor, they chest bump you. Yeah, as you did right there. They just come up to you because like, shit, you know, I have no ammo left in my gun, etc. Enemy, come for you. Alright. We'll pick him up later. So yeah, if you're too close to the survivors, you chest bump. And I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who do it. I'll admit that I've done it where I just run up to the charger because I'm reloading or something. I know I'm not going to be able to kill it just so that I can get a chest bump. So, in order to avoid a chest bump, you can do one of two things, alright? You can do what most people try and do, which isn't very successful sometimes, where you go up to them and then you back up a bit and try and charge, but sometimes they'll hold W and then they end up pushing against you and you end up chest bumping. Or you can angle your charge. Do you see here? Again, just for demonstrations, if I charge them too close, stumble. But if I angle my charge instead, if I aim shoulder length to the left or the right of him, I'll grab him instead of stumbling.
Okay.
Alright, so let's try it again with the shell. Very nice. I don't know if I could stumble you from this one. Let me see. There we go. Very nice. So yeah, that's it. It's just shoulder length to the left or the right. So any questions there with that?
Nope.
Alright. Now, how are you with... I like to call it curve charging, even though it's not really curve charging, but it's basically you hitbox charge them. You clip onto their hitbox and charge them away from a wall or something like that. How are you with something like that? Vintage Man? Scaring me, Vintage Man.
Not sure to do it.
Alright, here, let's, so let me go ahead and show you over here. So, if you want, you can kill off your charger or walk your entire way over here. Alright, so this is what I mean. I'm sure you're familiar with this spot.
Yes.
Alright, so the survivor hugs the ever-living fuck out of this corner, alright? If you can actually clip his hitbox and charge him away. Now, the trick here is you need to make sure you're not aiming more than 90 degrees. If you aim more than 90 degrees, you'll miss, kind of like what you did right now. There we go. Alright. You just kill yourself off and I'll respawn you. Right? Very nice. And yeah, that bug right there. I don't know anything about it. It just happens. Alright. Very nice. Look at that. Alright. So now let's try and do it a bit more quicker. Alright.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta switch back over, man. Can't spawn you up. Alright, now. The trick to doing this is to actually preemptively already be looking at where you're going to be charging. Alright? So let me set him up. So be preemptively looking at where you want to go. You can't get back on here from there. Well, next time just kill off your charger, it's quicker. Well, hey, you got coach, right? That counts for something, right? Now, that little part here where you get that, I don't know, like, I don't really know the reason behind it. I think it has to do with if you keep holding down the key to move into him as you charge. You gotta just release it once you actually get to him. Let's try again. Remember, be looking... Alright, so watch, look. So I'm going to show you in slow motion here. Alright, okay, let me set him up here. Alright, so I'm going to be coming towards him. Then once I'm halfway here, that's when I'm going to start preemptively aiming at where I want him to go. You need to do it before, because your charger's churn rate isn't as fast as your actual churn rate. So the best way I can describe it is, have you ever been like killed by a survivor when his ass was facing you?
No.
No? Oh. Well, basically there's a speed limit to how quickly a model can churn. And you need to start preemptively aiming at the area you want to go to halfway through, or a little bit earlier, or maybe a little bit later, just so that your model's fully churned when you're doing it. You're still doing it way too late. Oh, that one I think was just ping. I think it might be your ping here. So here, let's try this then. When you're right here, just walk your way into him and then do the charge, alright? Just make sure you're already aiming in the direction that you want to go. Remember, you don't want to be aiming more than 90 degrees. Very nice. Well, that's not you. Oh god, that's you. I don't know if you're gonna be able to charge him off.
I don't think it's working.
Well, I mean, you are a tank, so... And no, the churning animation does not rely on the tick rate. It actually relies on a C-VAR behind it. Very nice. Damn, dude, you lagged that shit through. Very nice charge. Alright. Let's try and do one more here. And get him in position. There we go. Sense mattress, punch charging, I'm pretty sure somebody's already covered it. It's just basically where you right click right before you left click. However, if you land a hit on a target, you will slow down for the initial part of the charge, making it easier to be leveled. Very nice. Alright, now let's try and do something a bit more realistic here. So give me 1 second. Alright. So I've increased the charge's max health to its default value here. And what we're going to do here is you need to charge me off now. So I'm going to be shooting you, and you need to charge me off. Now, this is a bit more tricky because I'm going to try and bait you. Alright, you don't want to get shipped, because if you get shipped, it's going to be easy for me to level you when I get up.
Okay.
Alright, ready?
Yep.
Alright. Oh god, is that you? Oh god! That's not you!
Okay.
Alright, ready? Alright. Sense mattress, I don't know anything about the hitboxes. I heard some people say it makes it harder for you to level, but it makes it easier for you to clear mid-charge. Where are you going? Alright, let's try again. Ready?
Yep.
I want to make sure that he actually... Alright. Oh, whoa there. That's way too early, man. Alright. Alright, let's try again.
Yep.
Oh, whoa. I just kind of lagged, didn't you? Do you need help again? Here.
No.
Oh, no? Oh, my bad. I thought I shot you a bit. Alright, here we go. Okay, you're doing it way, way too early. Wait for me to actually come up, because I'm just intentionally trying to bait you there. You can't wait that long. Oops. There we go. Ready?
Yep.
See if we can try and at least land a single one. Even if you don't charge me off, as long as you charge me past the hole. That's good for the charger.
We got a charger.
So you're charging way too early. Wait till you get a bit closer to me. Because you are getting close. I mean, you are getting enough health to get to me in time. It's just you're charging way too early. And you're missing. Alright, ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's try again.
We got a charger.
Alright, ready?
Yep. Okay.
Alright.
Charger.
You're still charging way, way too early. Zimmer, I'm not moving anywhere. I'm just going to be going straight into that corner.
Charger.
Alright, ready?
Yep.
Charger. Charger's got me.
Alright, let's try again. Ready?
Yep.
Charger. This thing is beating my ass.
Alright, again.
Yep.
Charger.
I'm wondering if it's actually related to me holding down a certain key. So here, come up to me just and line yourself up for a charge. I'm going to hold down some keys. So go ahead and charge me. Alright now. I'm just making sure. Alright. Never know what you might still discover in these lessons here. I actually learned from somebody how to do the hunter rolling. And I started teaching people how to do it after that. Alright, ready?
Yep.
We got a charger.
And the only thing I can think of is that you're not churning early enough. Your model's not churning early enough because you're churning too late. Alright, ready?
Yep.
Alright, here we go.
Yep.
Alright, let's try again.
Yep.
We got a charger. Shoot the charger.
Oh, I alt-tabbed by accident. I have no idea. Oh, hi there. I considered of you not to charge me off while I was alt-tabbed. Alright, ready?
Yep.
Alright, let's try this again, but once you see me fully up, start preemptively already aiming where you want me to go, and just walk into me, okay?
Yep.
Alright.
We got a charger.
I mean, I don't know. Because I know your ping will influence when you start churning on the server side end. Alright. Let's give this 3 more tries here, and then if you want to move on, it's up to you, alright?
Okay.
Alright, ready?
Yep.
Charger.
Oh, whoa! That's not you! Alright. Here we go.
Yep.
We got a charger.
Very nice.
There we go.
Alright, there we go. Oh wow, Rochelle tried to kill you. Alright, do you want to keep trying or do you want to move on?
Let's move on.
Alright then. Alright, so any questions there about the charger? Because I believe that covers everything.
Yep. That's next.
Alright then. And the next and last special infected I cover here is the jockey. Everyone's favorite assign. Alright? So let me go ahead and spawn us up as jockeys. Why? Why would you do that, Vassal? Just type in unbanned. Alright. So, the only really thing, I mean, this is something you can't really do on the 60 tick anymore, because it's just really, really inconsistent. Because 60 tick, harder to b-hop. But, on 30 tick, this used to be a really big thing, was jockey b-hopping. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Nope.
Alright, jockey b-hopping is... Let me move these guys out of the way here. Alright, jockey b-hopping is the act of lunging and then space barring at the end of the lunge to b-hop. And when you do it properly, you'll notice that you kind of just fly through the air really quickly. And this was very, very easy to do back on 30 tick. It still is on vanilla, but not on Pro Mod right now. It's very difficult to do, and this is kind of the only way for the jockey to kind of be viable, because it was very, very slow. But it's very useful to still practice in 60 tick, or 30 tick. And all you really do is just alternate between lunge and spacebar. I think you got one there at the end. Now make sure you're holding the W key while doing this. You'll move faster still. Well, now you're just spacebarring. I'm not. I mean, are you getting any? Because it's kind of hard for me to check because you keep kind of lagging all over the place.
Not really.
All right. I mean, yeah. The trick to doing this is just really just aiming straight forward and space barring at just the right time. It's a little bit more acceleration than what people are used to, so you do have to press the space bar somewhat towards the end, but before you land, obviously. Alright, just tell me if you want to move on to the next part.
Alright.
Alright. Now, the next thing here, now this is very important also for Pro Mod. We're not done with the jockey yet, unfortunately. But
Okay.
first things first is one thing about the jockey B-Hop here is that I'm sure you noticed that if you lunge and you look at the top or the bottom right, your little red bar, it empties and it doesn't start recharging until you fully landed on the ground. What this means is that you can't grab the survivors regardless of whatever you do. So normally, if I wanted to grab onto these guys, I could just spacebar, jump into them or some shit, and I'll grab them, alright? However, if I'm on cooldown... Oh, hi there. All the way over there, Vintage Man. Welcome to the jockey. But yeah, you can just spacebar onto them normally. But if your red bar is on cooldown after recently using your lunge, you'll actually slide off of the survivors. So let me show you here really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and do a jockey B-Hop here and just watch as I kind of just slide off the survivors. You see how I kind of just slid along Coach there, and if he was a player, I would have easily gotten shoved, right?
Yep.
And just show it one more time. Oops. Alright. So yeah, that's just one thing to note is that when your lunge is on cooldown, you can't do anything to grab any of the survivors. Alright? Now this brings me to my next point here. Is initiating with the jockey. A lot of people, when they're the jockey and they're on a high-end place, they sometimes like to initiate with a lunge here. Alright? The problem with that is if you miss, then you have to wait to recharge, and during that time you're going to be shoved aside, etc., and you're completely useless. Whereas instead, if you rocket spawn or spacebar... you teleport every time. Whereas instead, if you rocket spawn or just spacebar off the roof, you miss, but then you can lunge again when you go for round 2, basically. So the moral here is try not to initiate with your lunge if you're going off a really high in place. Try and initiate with your spacebar or rocket spawn. Very good. Alright, so any questions about the favorite infected, the jockey?
No.
Alright then. Alright, so this is the halfway point in the lesson here. If you want to take a break or call it, it's entirely up to you, but we'll be doing survivors next.
Let's just do it.
Alright then. Alright, so let's switch over to the survivors here. Alright, so first things first is crowning. How are you with crowning?
Okay, I suppose.
Alright, do you know how to quick crown or speed crown?
Just run up and shoot her in the face, right?
Not really, but... Where are you? Oh god, you're all the way over there! Alright, let me bring you back over here. And you're probably gonna need a gun. So come take this shotgun over here. Alright then. Alright, so let me see you do a speed crown here really quick. Alright, yeah. Alright, so you're pretty decent at that. Now, what about draw crowning?
I can do it, but sometimes the witch goes like to the right or whatever.
Alright, let me show you then how to properly do draw crowning and why it happens then. Or do you already know why that happens?
I have no idea why that happens.
Okay. So let's back up a bit here. Because I'm going to spawn her like right there in that puddle to give us some room around her. Alright. See here, you have a witch. The best way I like to describe it is you want to try and pull her directly north, east, south, or west. So you see right here, if I draw her here, she's just going to go straight to me and cling to me. And that's it. That's the end of that. Alright? However, if I pull her at an angle, see right here, I'm neither to the south and I'm neither to the east of her. She's going to slide. You see here, she slides off to my right.
Okay.
And now here, I'm directly to the east of her. Oh, but she takes some weird nav path. Sometimes she'll do that. It's entirely just like nothing you can do about it. As you can see, pulling her from the east, directly to the east of her, she just goes in a straight line and just kind of sticks to you. With, you know, sometimes she'll just nav path around some silly shit. And same thing from the north. You're directly north of her. Which, for some reason, she's just gonna take some weird path. But you kind of get the idea, right?
Yep.
Alright. Now, also, where you draw her from, like what way she's facing, can determine how she'll path. So right here we have a witch. I'm gonna go ahead and go behind her. Shooting her from the back will actually have a higher chance of her curving when she turns around. Do you see that? She ends up having to do like this complete circle around just to turn around instead of doing a complete 180 where she's standing.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go underneath here really quick just to show it again. You see, she has to do a complete circle, or at least just go around to, you know, go around. Alright. So, any questions then with draw crowning?
Nope.
Alright, now do you know how to do stumbling on the witch? Like stumble kill her?
Yep.
Alright then, so we can skip over the rest of the witch stuff then. Alright, next part is tongue cutting. How are you with tongue cutting?
Okay.
Alright, so you want to skip over that then?
Yep.
Alright, now what about skeeting?
You just shoot it as it comes at you, right?
Well, yeah, but can you consistently do it?
No.
Alright, then we'll go over that. But before that, how are you with timing dead stops on both the hunter and the jockey?
Better on the hunter, but jockey's kind of weird.
Alright, let's go over the timing for the jockey then here. So, just to put it simple, so let me go ahead and play as the jockey here really quick. Just to put it simple, is if you have a ping underneath 100, or a ping and a lerp combination underneath 160, so if you add up your ping and your lerp and they add up to less than 160, this will apply to you, which I'm sure you will almost always apply to you then. So give me one sec. Alright. So go ahead and come stand right here in this little puddle. Alright. Now, the timing for dead stopping a jockey is just basically as soon as he gets in leaping range. Think of it as kind of like a bot. Everyone that plays the jockey kind of, for the most part, plays it in like this hurried state. They want to just hurry up and land on the person or take the lunge at the person because they know they're going to die very quickly because they're such a slow as fuck infected. So what they're going to do is as soon as they're in range of you, they're going to leap. So when you see me get right here, that's when you're going to want to shove. Alright?
Okay.
And here we go. Alright, do it again. Also, don't aim too high. Let's try again. Very nice. Alright. Oh, sorry! I ended up spawning on top of you. Alright, ready?
Yep.
Alright, let's do one more. Right again.
Okay.
You aren't even shoving on my end. Remember, you're not waiting for me to leap. You're waiting until I reach the perimeter around you for when you want to shove. Alright.
Okay.
Oh, I missed. Here we go.
Okay.
Very nice. Well, that one was a bit too early. Alright. Very nice. And one more. Very nice. Alright. So do you kind of get the idea behind it now?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, the best thing I can honestly just describe to do with the jockey, and honestly all the special infected, is to always be sidestepping. It's something that I've been trying to get my partner Zalams to always do, but he kind of always wants to stand still or, you know, take things straight to the face with the shotgun because he hopes to kill it. But by sidestepping a bot jockey, I mean a player jockey, let me see if I can show you here. It's a bit hard to demonstrate with the bot jockey because they're cheaters. Let me see if I can show you here. If you... let me see. Alright, let me try again. Nope, too early. These guys are like great at predicting. Dude, it's ridiculous. Nah. Alright, I can't do it with the bot jockey. But basically, by sidestepping a player jockey, it's easy. You don't really have to rely on the whole dead stopping technique. They just go, land next to you, you shoot them, you sidestep again, you shoot them. Because again, they're going to get into this desperate state of like, shit, alright, gotta repounce quickly. Then they don't like preemptively try and aim at where you're going to go. Once you start sidestepping, it's very, very difficult for any of the infected, specifically the jockey, to just have a chance at grabbing you, right?
Okay.
However, if you're dealing with a bot jockey, those little fuckers, don't sidestep. Sidestepping, like, throws out some weird as shit, like, hitbox detection. I don't know what it is, but I have trouble dead stopping jockeys just whenever I'm sidestepping. Alright, so any questions about dead stopping a jockey then?
Nope.
Alright, so let's get to skeeting. Alright. So, hunter skeeting, we're going to be using a shotgun, obviously. First things first is I need to teach you about how the shooting mechanics work in this game. So, do you know what hit scan means?
Kind of?
Okay. Hit scan means that as soon as you shoot, alright, as long as you're not using a grenade launcher, as soon as you shoot, the damage you deal is transmitted instantly across the entire map. There is no delay. Now, the little bullets that you see coming out of your gun don't actually represent any of the damage you're dealing. They're actually just there for looks, right? So let me go ahead and show you here really quick. So come on over here. So come grab this hunting rifle. And I'm going to stand all the way over here really quick. You see me? I see. Okay, you see where my hunch is at? So, alright. So just shoot me in the head here really quick. And you notice I die quicker than your bullet even reaches me. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what hit scan means. It's instant, alright? You don't ever need to lead your target in this game. You just aim directly at the model. Always, right? Now, the same thing also applies to shoving. However, because of how collision works in this game and capping, whenever it comes to dead stopping a jockey and a hunter, you have to shove incredibly early. Because if their server-side hitbox collides with yours, you're considered capped, right? But if their server-side hitbox doesn't collide with yours and you shove their model, even though they're like light years away from you, it'll still register. There's some pretty good lag compensation for survivors. Alright. So the next things first, or the next things here, is that the shotgun does not deal additional headshot damage to special infected with the exception of the witch. So by shooting the head of an infected, you're dealing 100% damage, similar to as if you were shooting the torso. So why shoot the head when you can shoot the torso and still deal the same amount of damage with the shotgun? Again, this only applies to the special infected, not including the witch.
Okay.
Alright. So let's get to skeeting here. So I'm going to go ahead and be the hunter here really quick. So you're going to go ahead and just come stand over here. And just for simplicity's sake, I've disabled your M2, so you can't really, you can't shove anything anymore. Alright, it's just skeet or die.
Oh.
Alright. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leap at you, and when I'm right about here, that's when you want to shoot. you're going to want to shoot kind of underneath my chin, but in between my shoulder blades, alright? If you get any damage, I'll tell you by giving you a number, like 149. That means I have 149 health left.
Okay.
$216. $189. Remember, you can shoot pretty early with that chrome shotgun, so don't be hesitant to do so. That was a bit too early. Alright, let's get 2 more. Alright, now for this part here, I'm going to do speed pounces. So this is what you'll see a more experienced hunter kind of do, where they just leap below and just keep leaping at you, alright?
Okay.
So what you're going to do for this is I'm going to do 1 leap to right here, and then I'm going to leap to you. And you want to shoot me when I land right here, not when I'm already in the air. You're going to wait for me to land, and you're going to shoot me right here, alright?
Okay.
169. Oh, whoa there. 103. $149. I feel like you're shooting a bit too early, because with your ping, wait for me to fully land. Don't shoot me as soon as I land. Wait for me to fully land.
Okay.
166. Very nice. Alright, now I'm going to do a bit of an L jump at you. It's the same exact idea, alright? 224. 148. $120. I'll just do 1 more here. Very nice. Alright. Now the next part is skeeting here. So come stand on this little puddle. So we're going to do 6 tries with this. Let me see if I remember the command. Damn, I don't remember it. I guess I'll have to bring it up slowly by myself. There we go. Alright. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to either pounce to your left or your right. You're going to have to predict where I'm going to go, and then I'm going to pounce at you. Now, the trick with skeeting a hunter isn't really, or at least with the shotgun, the trick with skeeting a hunter is not to track it, it's to predict where it's going to land. So don't bother tracking it while it's in the air. Wait for it to reach a point where it'll stop. Alright, predict where it's going to land and shoot it there. Alright?
Okay.
Very nice. $162. Very nice. Very nice. That one was a bit too early. You're trying to shoot me in the air again. Alright, let's try again. $23. Oh wow, you actually got me. Nice. Alright. Very nice. Alright. So now we're gonna do a bit of a 1v1 here, right?
Okay.
So you're free to do whatever it is you want. I'll re-enable your shoving here really quick. Wait 1 sec. Alright. And we'll do 4 of these. You're allowed to shoot me as soon as you see me, right?
Okay.
Don't be afraid to try and dead step if you want to. Remember, every time I land on the ground is an opportunity to shoot me. Very nice. Oh, that's not nice. You need to make sure to stick to the hunter, otherwise you won't like get the kill like that. Oh, 1 second, I seem to be missing my health bar for some reason. There we go. Because yeah, once you get that shove, you need to hug that hunter, otherwise he's just gonna get, you know, a couple more pounces in.
Okay.
42. $171. Very nice. All right, one more. $7. Oh, damn it, Alice. Remember, you got 8 bullets or 8 shells in that shotgun. You have every single one of them to use against a hunter. Very nice. Alright, so any questions when it comes to dealing with hunters?
Nope.
Alright then. Alright, so the next couple things here left is just rock skating, some information about melee weapons in the left-footed 1SI, and leveling charges.
Okay.
So, how, I mean, just like, what's your stance on leveling charges?
Hard.
Say again?
Hard.
Hard?
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh, alright. Okay, well, there are 2 types of leveling charges. So come over here really quick. Let me set the health really quick. Alright, so simply put, there is the chipped level, which is you're going to see what a lot of people do. So basically they do something like this. So it's going to be hard for me to replicate here, but where they shoot the charger and then they level it, alright? And that's mostly what most people do, alright? Is they chip the charger before they level it and then bring out their melee weapon and, you know, it just becomes a baked fest. To see if the charger will charge and if the person will get baited from his melee, etc. Alright? Now the other one, which is a bit more inconsistent, and I honestly want to just say it's random and pure luck, is headshot leveling. So, you know those shoves that we've been doing? And you see those little debug rays that come out?
Yes.
Alright, that's the same kind of debug rays for the melee weapon, alright? However, you can't see them for the melee weapon on your end. It's a server-sided thing, alright? Now, how melee damage is determined? It is determined by which of the rays hit which part of the body first. So even if you're aiming at the head and you hit the charger, it won't matter. Because it matters which ray touched the charger first. If the first ray to touch the charger touches his shoulder, it'll deal shoulder damage. First ray touches his head, even though you're not aiming at the head, will deal headshot damage. So it's really inconsistent, and it's hard for me to kind of demonstrate. If at all. Alright. So let's go ahead just for this demonstration, because it's really hard to do anything with the charges because they're just really buggy on local servers. Alright? So I'm going to spawn up a charger, and you're just going to swing your melee weapon, and I'll tell you if you got the level or not. I'll have to kill the charger myself because, yeah, there's no way you're going to kill it. It's really buggy.
Okay.
Alright. So let me see. Let me move everyone away from where I'm going to spawn them. Alright. Alright, ready? So I'm going to spawn them up in that general area over there. You don't need to do any chipping, just do your melee weapon. Alright?
I don't have a melee weapon.
Oh, let me give you one then.
Grabbing a katana.
There you go. Alright. And no, it's more than just that. It's more than just that for the AI chargers. Alright, yeah, you got that one. Very easy. Alright, let's try again. It's that local servers are buggy. Like, witches will die instantly from an explosion. Very nice, yeah, you got that one too. So yeah, it looks like you're landing all of these. Okay, that one was a bit late. Yeah, you got that one. Alright, so you're kind of seeing, like, the timing for it is pretty simple, right? You can hear it on your end, right? Your melee cutting into the charger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is for leveling, alright? Just chip the charger a bit, and then level. That's it. There's no real, like, fancy trick to it. If you can take off at least 100 health from the charger, which is very easy to do with any of the guns, even tier 1s, it's an easy level, alright? Just don't get baited. Good chargers, what they'll try and do is, like, they'll see you with that melee weapon out, they come up, and then they'll back up like this, and you end up swinging, then they charge, and then you're fucked.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright. Any questions on charger leveling?
Nope.
Alright then. Next part is Skeeting Rocks. How are you with Skeeting Rocks?
I haven't really tried it.
You never tried it?
Yeah.
Alright, well let's try it then here. So let me go ahead and spawn us up over here with some weapons. Alright. Let's see. Alright,
Grabbing a katana.
so here's a bunch of weapons that you can use here. Now, the thing with Skeeting Rocks is it goes against everything else that you do with any of the other things, right? When a rock is going straight for you, pretty simple, just shoot at the rock. No real trick to it. You can see there. However, when the rock is going for somebody else, then that's when it becomes a pain in the ass. The reason being is, I mean, I don't really know how to best describe it because I never really debugged it fully. But I think because of the fact that it's considered a prop rather than, you know, a playable entity or common infected or something like that, it doesn't have proper lag compensation to it. So you actually have to aim ahead of the target. So for this, I'm going to start throwing my rocks at Rashad. Alright, and you're going to notice that it's harder to skeet those rocks now. I'll go ahead and try and skeet him.
You know?
Oh, sorry. I was like, what are you doing? You're just watching your teammate getting pounded now. Alright, tell me when you're not lagging anymore.
Okay. I think.
Alright. Alright, let's try this again. So you can kind of see now. It's like before you were just skeeting them just fine, but now you can't like skeet them at all, right? Oh, nice, you got that one. The trick is really just you have to aim ahead of the rock, and maybe slightly farther downward, but just ahead of the rock in general. And no, it doesn't depend on the tank ping from what I've noticed. It just depends on your ping and your alert, really. Very nice. Alright, let's do 2 more. Very nice. Yeah, Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not nice. Wait, did it just fall down?
Yeah.
Alright, I want to say is that that's actually some of the best rock skeeting I've seen on the side. I've never actually ran into anyone that actually consistently skeet those rocks, so good job, by the way. So yeah, you gotta aim ahead of the target, really. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and drop down here, and I'm still gonna throw them at Rochelle. Very nice. Let's try and get 2 more rock skates here. Well, that one's going to be a bit harder. Alright? Very nice. Alright. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you here is basically, I'm going to be explaining God frames for rocks. Or are you already familiar with that?
Nope.
Alright then. So first things first is rocks, when they are picked up by the tank and as they are thrown, they are given God frames. Even after leaving the tank, they have a brief amount of time that they're God framed and you can't deal any damage to them. So what this means is if you're too close to the tank and he tries to throw a rock at you, no matter how good your shots are, you are not going to skeet that rock, period. Alright? Now,
Okay.
God frames are doubled for AI tanks. And if they're not doubled, there's some ludicrous amount, but just basically AI tanks can throw rocks and they're considered God framed for a long duration in their throw, making them a real pain to skeet in campaign mode. Lastly, is all the rocks have the same amount of God frames. However, all 3 of the rocks leave at different exit points from the tank, and all 3 of the rocks have different velocity to them. The fastest and most dangerous rock while God framed is the one-handed rock. The reason being is that it leaves the tank's body further than any of the other rocks. In fact, it actually glitches out and leaves the tank's animation in a way that it jitters. So come stand over here really quick, right next to me. Alright, and just watch these rock throws and see if you can see the jitter when he throws the one-handed rock. You can see, here's the underhand rock, nice and smooth, and then here's the one-hand rock. You see that jitter kind of like teleports forward? See if I can get another one.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, the one-handed rock is the only rock that kind of does that. So it leaves at a very ridiculous length. So where I was just standing against that, it's leaving right here. So again, just to give you an idea, I'm standing right here, and the rock is leaving right here. So look at this, that huge gap between the rock leaving and the actual tank. Alright, and then it's going to be God framed for this amount of distance here. So right about here. This is when its God frame wears off. So you can see just where I was standing, how ludicrous that is. Alright? So yeah, the one-handed rock is incredibly dangerous because it's the fastest rock and it leaves the rock at the furthest point possible. So if you see a tank picking up a one-handed rock, you probably just want to take cover instead of trying to skeet it. Alright?
Okay.
So any questions about rocks and such before we move on to the final part?
Nope.
Alright then. The last part here is melee weapons and the Left 4 Dead 1 Special Infected. Are you familiar with the Left 4 Dead 1 Special Infected not instantly dying when you melee their feet?
It's 75%, right?
Yeah, it does a percentage of their current health until they reach a shove threshold. So then, yeah, I guess you're familiar with that then. Or do you want me to just recap it?
Quick recap.
Alright, so let me spawn these guys up here. Let me go ahead and stop that. Alright, there. Wait, it stopped? Alright, yeah, it stopped. Okay. Let me go ahead and spawn these guys up here. Alright. So, to put it simple, is every time you swing at an infected's leg, if it's a left-footed 1 special infected, you only do a percentage of their current health until you reach the shove threshold, which is usually 4 or 5. But for the smoker and the hunter, it's 5. The boomer, it's 4 or 5, but since she doesn't have enough health, she'll always die on the 4th swing because she only has 1 health left and this game doesn't do decimals. And it only applies to the left-footed 1 special infected, and not the left-footed 2 ones. Alright. So any questions on that then?
Oh.
Alright, so that is pretty much everything that I cover in the 101 on lessons then. Unless you have any other questions, I believe that's the end of this.
Okay.
Alright then, so I'm going to go ahead and close the server here. Hopefully you learned some stuff here, even though you watched a good portion of the video beforehand. Alright. Take care, Vintageman.